We have a candidate for Jackson County Prosecuting Attorney, Jared Hopkins. Hi, Jared.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So you're running for prosecuting attorney because current prosecutor, Jared Jarzinka, is retiring.
Correct.
Why did you decide you wanted to run for prosecutor?
Well, I was an assistant prosecutor. Hank Zavislak hired me in 2006, and I worked there until about the middle of 2013, and I loved it. It was a great job. I went out, started my own firm, and I've been doing that now since 2000, about 11 years. And I always thought that when Mr. Jarzinka retired, and it was an open seat, that I was going to try and run for it. I have a lot of my friends in law enforcement, kind of asking me, we think we need to get you in there. We really like to see you in there. So I'm answering the call, and this is my community, and I just want to make it a safer place.
So you were a prosecutor, and you've been a defense attorney, and that's what you are now?
Yes, correct.
What kind of law do you practice in your defense attorney practice?
So I solely focus on criminal law. So I've been doing criminal law collectively for 18 years. I mean, before I graduated law school, I interned at the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office, and even I went up to Sault Ste. Marie and interned at the Chippewa County Prosecutor's Office. So my sole focus has always been criminal law. That's what I want to do, and I love the intricacies of it, and I love being in court.
Jared, tell us about growing up and at what point you decided you wanted to be an attorney, and at what point you wanted to specialize.
Sure. So I grew up in a family of law enforcement. My grandfather retired from the Wayne County Sheriff's Department as a deputy. My father retired as lieutenant of detectives from the Pontiac Police Department. And I was actually going to be a police officer. And then my dad threatened to stop paying my tuition if I went down that road. So I decided to go to law school solely to become a prosecutor. That's why I interned at all the different prosecutors' offices that I could. And, when I got out, there weren't that many, unlike now where every single community needs prosecutors, there weren't that many job openings. So I applied pretty much everywhere I could, and Hank Zavislak called me, and that's what brought me to Jackson, and I've never left.
Yeah, I learned recently that there is a shortage statewide
Absolutely.
of prosecuting attorneys. Why is that?
I read an article today, and I think a lot of it has to do with pay scale. I think you come out of law school, everyone has these grandeur illusions that they're going to make $1 million coming out of law school. Well, one, every lawyer will tell you this, law school doesn't teach you anything about how to be a lawyer. That's why internships are so important. But I think also, that wanting to be in a prosecutor's office has to be ingrained in you. I think you have to have that thought process because you're in court every single day. And this is a kind of job where you have to be in the office and you have to be in court every single day. For a lot of people coming out of law school, they don't like that effect. But when it comes down to it, my honest answer, I think it's the money.
Are you going to be a prosecutor that's going to be in the court and try cases?
That's my plan, yes. I mean, I look at it, you're either an administrator or you're in the courtroom, like, Judge Grant, one of my idols. And I want to be a prosecutor handling those big, tough cases and actually trying cases in the courtroom.
So what kind of crime do you want to go after?
Violence. Violence and guns. The police are so frustrated with, the gun cases and the violent cases, maybe not getting the full attention that they need right now. And part of what I really want to do is focus on, those key factors, those key people in our community that are causing this violence, and working with the different law enforcement agencies. I think I can do that.
So there is some discretion as a prosecutor. We hear about plea agreements.
Correct.
Tell me about what a plea agreement is, how it works, and how it would factor into how you would run the office.
So plea agreements are a tool that have to be done. Not every case can go to trial. Everyone will tell you that. I think it's about 4 to 5% of cases maybe go to trial. Plea agreements, I think, should be used for cases where, one, the police are okay with the deal and the victims are okay with the deal. Plea agreements for, users, people that need help or mental health help. But plea agreements for violent offenders, for serious gun crimes, that shouldn't happen.
People have different perspectives on what type of crime or what level of crime we're having in this community based on what they're involved with.
Correct.
Overall, what would you say our community's biggest crime issues are?
I think crime starts, honestly, with drugs. I think drugs, they seep into everything. The person selling the drugs becomes violent. The person using the drugs then breaks into one of our houses to get more money to buy drugs. And it's just a scourge. I think, but what we have to do is focus on cutting the head off the snake of those dealers, of those people coming from Detroit, moving here, shacking up here with someone selling drugs all over the county. I think that's a huge step. And you have to identify those people working with law enforcement agencies. And I've been blessed enough throughout this campaign. I've been endorsed by the Jackson Police Department, the sheriff's deputies, detectives, sergeants, the corrections, and Blackman-Leone Police Department. All three of those major departments in our community are all saying they want me to be the next prosecutor.
So what is it about drugs and why they're here? Is it 94? Is it the prison? What are the factors that lead to having this kind of a problem in this community?
Well, my criminology hat, and I majored in criminology, would, first and foremost, it leads to poverty. But poverty cannot combat the drug problem. I think 94 is a big deal. I think it's easy on, easy access. That's why you see, the Michigan State Police a lot around 94, stopping people on 94. And it's a thorough way, it's a good stopping point between Detroit and Chicago. And I think, they settle down here. I think, the fact that, when some people get out of prison, they don't leave. They stay in Jackson. And so you have some criminals remaining here that just got out of prison as well.
How about victims? You mentioned starting under Hank Zavislak, I believe it was, while he was prosecutor, he started the Victims' Rights Office. What is going to be your priority on the victims in criminal cases?
So I think first and foremost, you have to have an open dialogue with victims. A lot of times, I think cases get pled out because the prosecutor's office thinks that, well, we don't want to lose this. I don't care about my win-loss record. I care about giving victims their day in court. They deserve that. So you have to talk to the victims. And Ruth Stressman, who's a great friend of mine, she was the one that started the Crimes Victims' Rights Unit back under Hank. I think working with the Crimes Victims Unit is important, but I think the APA also has to reach out to the victims. Make sure they're on board with any plea deals, if there are any. Find out what they really want done. And
with the endorsements that you have from the police agencies, what does that mean to a average citizen?
Well, I think, and I've talked to citizens, and what I'm telling them, and when they're saying, well, why should we vote for you? I say, you know what I want you to do? I want you to ask the police departments. Everyone's got a friend that's a cop. I want you to ask them why they're endorsing me. There's a reason why I'm being endorsed and not a person currently in the job right now, working for the office right now, because police departments are frustrated, and the officers that I talk to are frustrated.
Told us a little bit about your road to becoming an attorney. Tell us a little bit about life outside the courthouse.
Right. So I live in Summit Township with my wife Amy and my daughter Izzy. She's 18 years old, so she's typical teenager. But I enjoy golfing. I'm on a golf league up at Hankard Hills with a whole bunch of guys that went to Lumen. We love, my wife and I love taking walks through the parks and just exercising. I kind of laid off on it now through this campaign, but I'm hoping to get back into the gym after all this is over.
So you've got here on JTV, you've got signs. How do you connect to potential voters during a primary campaign?
So I think what you have to do is you have to, like Kathy, and I see Kathy everywhere, I think what you have to do is you have to go to as many things as possible. My good friend Steve Hackworth, who owns Pro DJs, and I'm sure you know him, he put together this float for me and my team for the 4th of July parade in Grass Lake, and there was just so many people there. And we had this float with my signs and sparklers shooting up and smoke shooting up, just to get people's attention so that they feel comfortable coming up to you. And that's one thing about me is I'll talk to anybody. They come up to me, I'll talk to anybody and tell them what I'm thinking.
All right, well, we appreciate you taking time to be with us today, and good luck.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jared. Jared Hopkins, candidate for Jackson County Prosecuting Attorney. The office is going to be decided with the primary because there are no Democrats running and 2 Republicans. So the August primary coming up, I believe absentee ballots are already out.
Absentee ballots are out, yep, the vote's August 6th.
All right. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Up next,